Broadcasting live from the Silver Quill campus on the plain of Arcavios, this is TapTapConcede. Welcome, everybody, to TapTapConcede. My name is Graham. Joining me this week is Kathleen.
Hello.
And Cameron.
Uh-huh.
And today, we're going to be talking about a book. This book. But more on that in a moment. First of all, I want to remind everybody that the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Tell them we sent you. Ask very nicely for a button, and they'll send you a little button, which for the month of April says, a big creature is its own reward. And I have to come clean about something. It's incredibly embarrassing, and I'm angry at myself.
Your spelling of its?
I did the apostrophe.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Blame autocorrect. Blame autocorrect.
It was an AI broke into my computer. I never mess this one up. That's what bugs me. I always get the correct it's accurate. I've known this since working at the newspaper years ago, and I got it wrong here, and I don't know why. But
autocorrect does this to me all the time. It makes me look illiterate, and I have to send another message being like, no. Using the correct it's with an asterisk after it. And then it autocorrects that, too.
Yep, that's happened. Graham's seen me do that before, where I send him the same typo 3 times in a row, and progressively angrier emojis.
Send the typo. You send the full sentence with the typo, and then just the typo again, and then the typo again in all caps, and then a curse. Anyway.
I will say, for those of you who do get it mixed up, it is backwards.
Yes.
Than how you expect it would be. Because normally when you do make something possessive, you add an apostrophe S, which is not how you do it in this one word, because that combination was already taken by a different word that means something else.
Yeah, by being a contraction.
Yeah.
So you can get a button that is not only funny, but also annoys me personally. So bonus.
Great.
You can also get a 5% discount of anything you buy on the Dragon Shield store using the code LRRMTG5. And most importantly, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your support of our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel. And speaking of Strixhaven, big news coming up on the 10th. That's the end of this week. That's Friday, is the Secrets of Strixhaven pre-release. Starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, broadcasting on Twitch and YouTube. Your first chance to see gameplay of Secrets of Strixhaven. And from what little we've seen of our cards so far, it's looking pretty cool. This episode's going up on the 7th, the Tuesday, which is an unusual day for TapTapConcede. Typically, TapTap goes up on Mondays, but we held it off for a day because today is embargo day for this Secrets of Strixhaven. Sorry, it's not Secrets of, it's just Strixhaven. Omens of Chaos. It's a novel. This is, of course, the novel by Shauna Maguire. Yours won't look exactly like this because this is the advanced uncorrected proofs copy that was sent out for early readers.
Yeah, thank you to Random House who sent me that.
Yeah. And this is the first, I was looking this up before we started, this is the first magic novel of any kind since 2020. And
2019, technically.
Well, so the Chandra novel came out in 2020, but I didn't know that existed until I read the Wikipedia article earlier today.
I didn't know that existed either. I was thinking of this as the ill-fated Doug Bayer outing. Yeah,
no, they did. So Magic used to do novels constantly. Like when you look back with around Invasion and Mercadian Masks and stuff like that, with the block system, there was one for each set. So there was 3 novels for a set, or the original Ravnica. I think we have those on the shelf somewhere.
They're in our house actually.
Okay. And they would that was pretty consistent up until around 2009, 2010.
Right before we started playing.
Yeah. There was a Scars of Mirrodin novel in 2011, and then there's been some real fallow years with then occasionally a dalliance with novels will pop up here and there, but this is the first one in a while. And for that reason, it's pretty exciting. Having said that, your boy, which is me, I'm your boy, hello, I have not read this. But you know who has read it is Kathleen and Cameron. So physically and mechanically in terms of the podcast, I'm going to pass this over to you. Tell me about, I'm here to learn today. Tell me about Omens of Chaos.
Okay, I'm going to give you the quickest, non-spoilerist, but somewhat spoilerist summary. So if you haven't read this book and you'd like to, I'd just like to point out, maybe stop listening to this podcast now if you would like to read the book before you make your own opinions and you don't want major plot points spoiled for you, because I don't think that we can discuss this without talking about things that happen. that out of the way. Okay, this follows a set of 5 students as they embark on the Strixhaven first ever interplanar exchange program. Essentially, you meet 5 protagonists. Our main protagonist, Eula, who is from, I always think of the end user license agreement.
Yes, yeah, it was like end user license
but
agreement.
she's from Capenna, so it works.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Eula Blue.
Yeah, but
And these are not, when you say 5 students, these are not Abigail, Sanar.
No,
Tam.
these are 5 new students that we meet for the book.
This is an original.
It's an original cast of 5. However, it does conform to what I'm going to call the magic marketing guidelines, and there's one who goes to every school. But the first one is Eula, who is from Capenna, and she is great. She's our main protagonist. Our second protagonist that we meet, and our second sort of main protagonist, although we never get a chapter from his point of view, is Sagante from
Fiora.
Fiora. I'm blanking on the name of the plane.
Yo.
So
He's from Paliano.
He's from Paliano, and if you've ever wanted to learn more about Fiora, this is the book for you. I feel
dang,
like
okay.
I like Capenna now.
Really?
Yeah, I learned more about it. Anyhow, so the next protagonist we meet is Alondra, who is Talran's daughter. So he's like a minor magic character. We remember him from I think he was in Foundations last.
Yeah. I mean,
Drake Summoner.
Yeah, everyone sleeves them up for their commander deck and is like, "Oh, this doesn't actually work."
Yeah, but we meet his daughter, who is on her way to becoming a powerful sorcerer of her own. Her name is Alondra, and she has a companion Drake who is very cute.
There's a card of her already in Jumpstart 22.
Oh, is there really?
Oh,
Because I worked creative text on that set, and there was they're like, this is meant to be Alondra, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. James, are you able to find that? I'm positive that there's it's like Alondra, Princess of Drakes or something,
Yeah.
or whatever the playtest name was. I can't remember.
Can I just say though, if you care about magic, world building, and details and stuff, this book is dripping with detail in these very kind of subtle ways. Oh, this character is actually this character, and she's on a card and stuff like that. So it's cool. I think it's cool. Our fourth protagonist that shows up is Jamira, who is Angrath's daughter.
Yep, one of Angrath's daughters.
One of Angrath's daughters. She's rightfully traumatized. We'll get more into the trauma later because there's so much trauma. And the last protagonist that shows up is my personal favorite hero. It's Kekia, who is Teferi's granddaughter.
Yes, yeah. So all of these characters, with the exception of the main character, Eula, is the family of somebody pretty important on their plane.
Yeah, but they're all talented mages in their own way, which makes perfect sense because they've been invited to Strixhaven to attend this interplanar school. And what I think is really interesting about that is they're all magic users and all that stuff. And I'm sort of shortcutting it, but there's a great part of getting to know how devastated Capenna is and seeing all the things that motivate Eula to want to get the hell out of there. You know, and she just sees this life of drudgery ahead of her instead of doing what she wants and sacrificing for her family, and her other family, and you get all this great build up. And then you get this really cool passage of what it's like to travel through an omen path, which I thought was really neat. It builds them up a little bit more from convenient portals you can walk through at any time to dangerous magical places and stuff like that.
The passage through them doesn't last very long. And because Eula is from Capenna, she kind of describes it in terms of how it reminds her of Halo, which immediately threw me into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing about hyperspace.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's rather unpleasantly like being drunk.
Yeah.
It's Alandra Sky Dreamer.
Alandra.
Originally printed in Jumpstart 2022 and also in the Murders of Karlov Manor Commander decks.
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah, she does, when you cast your second card each turn, make a 2/2 Drake.
She has a cute Drake, and if you've ever read any of the Stephen Bruce books, it does remind me a bit of Loish.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar, but
Loish is a Jareg companion of the main character, and he is independent and smart. We don't get, obviously when you read the Stephen Bruce books, you get a lot of, you kind of get more pet stuff, because Alandra's also not a POV character, but they have an independent, cool bond. So if you're a Stephen Bruce fan, you'll be like, oh, neat. I appreciate this dynamic between two characters, one of whom is non-human. Anyhow, And so they get there, they go to Strixhaven, they meet their advisor. It's the mysterious Kasmina, who has invited them for all things. And she explains things. Are you excited to learn more about Kasmina's backstory?
I'd like to know anything about Kasmina.
Okay. Spoilers. Bad news. I'm reading this book, and I admit I read it very quickly so I could pass it to Cameron so we could make our deadline for this. And I'm reading the book, and they ask Kasmina a very reasonable question, and she responds with a monologue that has nothing to do with what they asked them, but makes her look important. I'm like, you're a villain!
Yep.
Spoilers. She has ulterior motives.
Yes.
Yeah, but I could probably fix her.
You could not.
No, yeah.
She's not. You would. I feel like Liliana is the lady that you would say I could fix her too, though.
Also, you would not.
Yeah.
No,
Having been in a similar situation. Kasmina has a plan to become fixed.
Yeah. So
Let's say.
it is revealed at this point in the book that Kasmina is missing her spark.
I was going to ask, do we find out if
she has been desparked. And spoilers, I'm just going to shortcut this now. Her grand plan is to recruit 5 people who have who would have the potential to become planeswalkers, the same way she did to Will and Rowan, right? But what she wants to do is give them enough trauma to ignite their sparks, because we know sparks only ignite through trauma.
Right.
But it's like all these people are pretty traumatized already, Kasmina.
This was kind of where I ran up against my first thing, where Jamira in particular is one of like a handful of survivors from her plane.
Yeah. Other spoilers, can I just point out that you know where her dad and sister moved to go to a better place? Innistrad.
Yeah.
That's moving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, because and we're joking, because obviously Innistrad's horrible and we all know this. But it's very funny and rewarding to get these details as a Magic fan, let me tell you. However, it's because, and I want to talk about this, we talk about how the characters are traumatized. Trauma really deeply informs this book and why people make the decisions that they make and stuff like that. So, but Jamira, has basically, because her dad was a planeswalker and her sister are very talented people who were fending for themselves because they're orphans because their mom died while Angrath was stuck on Ixalan. They actually managed to survive the Phyrexian invasion intact, but everything else around them has been razed. Their plane, nothing will ever grow there again for possibly hundreds or thousands of years. It's done. There's nothing to go back to. They are refugees. It's brutal.
And the way Kasmina delivers this information to them, this happens fairly early into the book. It's kind of it's in their first lecture why they're here.
Yeah.
Except with the part of Kasmina stealing their spark.
They're nascent sparks.
Yes, they're nascent sparks. If Jamira, if you are one of the few survivors of your plane, and you are told, hey, you have the potential to achieve, to spark and become a planeswalker, which is the thing that took your father away from you.
Yeah, so you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. And in order for that to happen, you might have to experience some emotional or physical discomfort.
Or some trauma. So,
some trauma,
a really scary thing. It's like fighting for my life while the Phyrexians raised my entire plane?
Yeah, my universe has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I might have to experience some trauma? I feel like your response in that situation would be, well, I guess this isn't going to happen then.
Yeah.
Or
I will say that everybody in this book is 19 or 20 because they're university students, and people are a little less smart at that age.
Right.
But yeah, but I will say that, so basically she recruits these really talented people and we find out so much more about them, and we, follow their adventures over the course of the school year. There is a dance with pretty outfits, which is all very fun. Honestly, I really I liked the main romance a lot. I thought it was really elegant and it folded a really good way. You could see why these people were drawn together.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that worked well for me in this book was that Eula likes Sagante because he's kind of hot.
Yeah, he's hot and cool.
Yeah, he's hot and cool
but they
and
share,
dangerous.
And they share an inner black mana pip.
Yeah. So
they do though, because Silver Quill and Witherbloom are their schools, and
that feels very 19. I'm a freshman at university. I've met the coolest person that exists.
Yeah, he looks like he's spoilers is Marchesa is his aunt, so his Paliano royalty, which is why he's gone to school, is because his dad wants to get him off the plane so Marchesa doesn't assassinate him.
Yeah. Like this is like a fairly it's not a it's a familiar trope.
Yeah,
right? We're
but
going to
it's a good
send
one.
away my beautiful himbo son, who's
not a himbo.
He's not a himbo. He's not well suited to life on Paliano.
No. No, he
right?
ends up doing like the healing stuff in Witherbloom more.
Yeah, he's a healer.
Yeah.
And it's not going to go well for him if he stays around Paliano. So they get him off stage.
So actually, there's a really, really good sentence in this. I apologize. I didn't have Post-it notes when I was reading, so I didn't have a chance to like flag lines. But Sagante talks about this. He's like, if I had stayed on Paliano and been a healer, then I wouldn't be able to make any political moves, and everyone would exploit me for my talents. But if I become a poisoner, then I become a threat to my aunt, and then either way, I don't have no control over my fate, and I will die at the hands of other people.
And like I really liked that a lot. And I also liked how Kazmina is like, Paliano isn't that bad. Fiora isn't actually like that.
Yeah. Kazmina's like, well, that's what the upper classes are like, but you guys are weird.
Yeah.
It's all...
I don't know. I just enjoyed that Kazmina's like, no, it's not actually like that. To somebody for whom life is like that.
Yeah,
and just
you live in a gilded cage, essentially.
Well, and I like that Kazmina is somebody who's comfortable explaining something that somebody else is intimately familiar with to them.
Yeah, Kazmina has an ego on her.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Kazmina's plan, and Alondra is really traumatized because, like, obviously her plane, which is... why am I blanking on this?
It's from the Magic the Gathering video game from the 90s.
What, Chandelar?
Chandelar, thank
From
you.
Chandelar.
She's from Tam's
Chandelar.
plane.
Yeah.
She's from Chandelar also got messed up. And what I really like about, and I talk about again, every character has really vivid, traumatic memories of what the invasion was like, except we don't really get it from Kekia's point of view. I think she is mostly fine, or at least, Teferi's your grandfather, but she has like all this magical potential and stuff. But Kazmina's plan to like stress these people out enough so they spark after this is to just like turn the school against them, because it turns out, and this is a personal, like, because Shannon McGuire has written a lot of books about like pandemics and like viruses and like invasive species kind of stuff. And so and I actually really think this is very elegant. There's a group of people who are at the school already and who are just like, actually, I don't think this is great that we just have like random people coming in from other planes and like we don't have any control over like what they're bringing in, and like it's like the biosecurity things that they have in Australia.
I was thinking of Australia.
Yeah. It's basically they're like, could we have some biosecurity? And everybody's like, nah.
Yep.
There's too much money to be made.
Could we just have them taxi for 10 minutes on the runway while people come through and spray all the overhead bins?
Yeah. Like it's
that happens in Australia.
Yeah, but it's anyhow. I think these people have a pretty reasonable concern. To be honest with you.
Honestly, yeah. I thought like, I mean, they're the villains because they do bad stuff.
Well,
but like, I think their concern is like,
they've been
rooted in something pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I feel like maybe just people should listen to them, but that doesn't matter because money's on the line. It is a business. You do get to learn some fun business about how the transportation runs. You get a Ravnican driver who takes Eula from New Capenna to Arcavios.
Oh, weird. Like through the Omen Path?
Yeah. Because it's a Ravnican company that organized through Niv Mizzet that does it, which is like, I love these details. I love this world building.
That's
it's
amazing.
so great to get these details of how you get back and forth. Because when would they ever have time to explain this?
Well, yeah, and I do like that, the Ravnica through the Izzet Guild is flexing a little bit of soft power.
Yep.
In order to control, like, we don't control the Omen Paths, but
we have the only reliable transportation
it's
service.
like how the Americans exert soft power by making half the airliners in the world.
Yeah.
Right, like you're going to fly on a Boeing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and what like I said, what I really like about that is like there's just this like depth of the world, and it's like. What I like is like there's all these questions that I didn't really know I had, but it's really nice to find the information for about how all of this works. And there's a lot of thought that's been put into knitting these disparate parts of magic together and making them work, even though like when they were obviously when Ravnica was a thing, they didn't have any plans to make Omen Paths, right?
Right.
So, but anyhow, it's cool. And also, Ravnica is basically under the control of Big Daddy Niv right now on account of he's the Living Guild Pact.
Yeah, and he's not terribly interested in any kind of legislation that might restrict his ability to control the plane.
Nope. This is everything he's ever wanted. Good for him. He's thriving.
Yeah.
But the point being, this group of students gets riled up by Kesmina and starts basically, doing a little bit of like harassment. Like they get graffiti, like outsiders go home, people throw rocks at them, they sort of whisper behind their backs, and they're kept really like separate. They have their own completely separate dorm than all sorts of like other people, and it just seems weird and off. And Eula eventually notices that owls are always watching her and like goes and confronts Kesmina, who gives her a completely ridiculous non-answer that Eula accepts.
Yes.
I feel like you feel powerless in this situation, but then they get to meet a teacher who does care about them, Liliana.
Oh, right.
Because there's a showdown.
Professor Onyx?
Yeah, Well, no, she just goes by Professor Vest because and the thing is, because Kekia is from Dominaria, she's like the first time she sees her.
Yeah.
Which is a great detail.
Yeah, that like Teferi doesn't like or respect Liliana that
No.
much.
And they're both like old walkers too.
Yeah.
So they just the stories. She's probably already heard about this woman.
And I like how Liliana, when she kind of like discusses her past with them, is like, well, did your grandfather mention that I only raised the dead against people who deserved it?
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, great.
Oh,
that
good.
makes
Okay.
it so much better.
I just want to say I really like the way that Seanan McGuire writes Liliana. She is such a great character in here. So if you like Liliana, read this book, because she's not a main character, but she does shows up. And you get the feeling that her and Kesmina, well, actually, she says, she's like, me and Kesmina aren't friends. We have the same situation, essentially.
Yeah.
I wish I had flagged that.
She calls Kesmina Mina, and it's not it's not friendly. It's like a I don't know. How would you describe using a diminutive to kind of like condescend to someone?
My mother's name is Margaret, and when she worked at the Provincial Museum, there were 3 Margarets.
Right.
And she was the middle one. So she managed to escape unscathed with Maggie.
Oh, okay.
The eldest was like, no, I'm Margaret. The youngest was Marge.
Oof. Yeah, like there's a definite hierarchy there.
Yeah. It's like, it's Mina derogatory.
Yeah. I just feel like if you could see this out loud, how I heard it in my head was her going, yes, Mina. Right? With that delivery.
Yep. I'm not even going to use your full name.
But anyhow, and Liliana's like, she seems like she's up to no good. And I'm like, that's right. She is. It's so obvious, but I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I'm also really good at like breaking down stories and understanding things and like doing these things. So I was like, she's up to no good. But then we get the school year and stuff. But all of this sort of comes together in a climax where we have the convergence of we're being harassed at school, and there is something wrong with our prof, Kesmina, and she basically lures them all to. She goes nuts at the end of the book, essentially, because nothing's working. She's been traumatizing them all semester, but again, I really think you have a very valid point. It's like, Kesmina, you need to traumatize these people a lot harder. They've just seen Phyrexians. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it does sound from what you're saying that like the plan from Kesmina is like, okay, I'm going to traumatize these kids, but so that they can spark and then I can steal their spark, I guess.
Well,
but as you're pointing out, like they have a bunch of trauma already.
She's like doing the long game of like this happens over the course of a year, so this builds up.
Oh, it's a whole school year.
This is a school they're not really specific about the timeline, but it's months and classes go by and stuff like that, and people are taking tests and there's dances and stuff. So the idea being like maybe this is just their frustration and feelings of isolation are building up. But eventually she just kind of goes nuts and lures them all to a snarl. Turns them into frogs, which is one of the things her planeswalker does, and it's another cool detail. I just like how many small little details of magic. It's very lovingly like, ooh, that. There's a lot of research that's gone into it. And basically says, all right, children, if you won't ignite... I'm just gonna like tear this snarl apart and and I don't care if I undo Arcavios, I want my spark back, essentially. And the kids, because they're all talented mages, and I'm breezing through this, but I really want to say the description of how magic is used in this book is cool.
Yeah, that was another thing I liked about it.
Yeah, it's a really detailed. You get to see a lot of, like, Eula is a shield mage, which we remember from the Brokers in New Capenna. Is not a particularly interesting mechanic. It's just like you get a thing that says I'm indestructible, and you take the mechanic off. But exploring how that works and how she like channels that when she's like here in the snarl and in the swamp and stuff like that, and how people figure it out. It's neat, and it's really beautiful, and like that kind of writing is like easy to read and breeze through and be like, yeah, but it's hard to describe and do, so I'm going to say this is a craft moment that perhaps I might appreciate more than you, but it's cool and you should appreciate it. And then Kasmina, in the tradition of all good villains, gets fridged, a.k.a. she disappears.
Yeah. She's absolutely coming back.
But she's I mean, we knew like that's what they do. This is how this genre fiction works, and I do have to say this is a piece of genre fiction, and that is how these things conclude. But and then that's the end of the book. It has a very quick conclusion because everything is wrapped up, and then they're going to go and have basically the summer vacation episode where, lacking anywhere better to go, Eula's like, come back to New Capenna with me. And it's just like, God, if that's your best option.
Yeah, it's like, you'll all come and live in my parents' one-bedroom apartment.
No, Sagante's like, I have jewels. I'll rent us a place on like the Mezio or whatever.
Yeah, but still, it's like summer vacation in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all
like,
humid.
Yeah, or Chicago. That's what I'm thinking of.
Chicago. Yeah.
It's so cold.
Chicago's pretty nice.
I like Chicago. We've been there a lot for like MagicCons and things. I like Chicago very much. But I'm not going to be like, woo, summer vacation in Chicago.
Sagante's from Murder Venice, so...
It's and Alondra's like, I'm so dry all the time.
Yeah, well,
please, everything itches.
Yeah, Alondra's like got eczema.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
In her defense, she is just like, she just wants to be like a homebody person, but her dad's like, everything that like all the politics of Chandalar are completely screwed up since the Phyrexians have come by because so much stuff got wrecked, and her dad wants her off the plane because he thinks it will be safer for her. So he doesn't want her to come home because he loves her. And so she's really stressed out and sad about this because she's a merfolk. She doesn't want to be walking around on dry land. So she's got her own issues and stuff like that. The most well-adjusted person of the bunch is Kekia. I love her. She has an old book. Like, she has an old university handbook that her grandfather brought for her. So it's like the equivalent of somebody carrying around like the 1952 student handbook today. Right?
Yeah, like, oh, this is, she knows... What is it? Fair Harvard?
Yeah.
Right.
She's a huge nerd, and I love her, and she's in Lorehold, and I won't hold that against her.
Yeah, no, Lorehold seems like a good fit for her. I think she was also my favorite character here. She's
a well-adjusted, sensible person coming from a loving family. Like, all of these things are in your favor. And I don't think that she had, I don't know, we don't get to hear a lot about it, but, like, we don't hear a lot about all of the trauma that she has been through the same way all of the other characters have been horribly traumatized again and again and again. Right?
Yeah.
But it's also that, like, I will say that she probably gets the least airtime out of all the characters because... Jamira doesn't want to be a planeswalker, so she has a really good chapter with Kasmina where she sort of goes through this. But we never really get anything from Kekia's perspective other than usually common sense, which I'm like, I love you. I love characters that have common sense.
So, sounds like there's a lot of lovely, crunchy lore for people who like the lore and the world building, which I admit that's very much my jam.
Many facts.
How was it otherwise?
So this is, I'm going to say, is a book that has to tread a lot of it's keeping a lot of plates spinning in the air because this is the first Magic novel since 2019, so it's got to do well. This is a Magic novel that is aimed at a completely different audience than previous Magic novels. I will say this Magic novel is aimed at a much more female-centric audience because I think that, for being a bit sexist about it, but a lot of like book marketing is aimed at women and people who identify as women because that demographic tends to be, the more voracious readers in this kind of like popular mindset, right? So, but it's also aimed at a younger audience, right? So it is got a little bit of everything. It's got a lot of action, it's got magic, it's got school stuff, and it's got romance. Romance, I think, is a different thing for magic novels. I don't really... I read Brothers' War, which has an important wedding in it, and there's no romance in that book.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's possible there wasn't romance in that relationship.
Well, I don't think... Well, I mean, Kyla just deserves so much better. God,
no one hates
Urza.
Urza like Caleb and Krug.
But anyhow, this book has a lot of stuff going on it, and what it has to do is it has to set up what the entire magic universe is. If I don't know what a Phyrexian invasion is, what an Omen Path is, what a Planeswalker is, what Arcavios is, what half a dozen other planes are, and it's got to stick in all of those details for people like me and Cameron who do know what those things are and do have expectations and want to see these Easter eggs. So I will say the book moves, I will say, a bit slowly until it gets to Arcavios, and then things sort of start picking up, I think. There's a lot of, as I described it, there's a lot of business the book has to get to, particularly when you get to the Kasmina scene, is when she's got to give you the rest of the stuff that you haven't been able to pick up. But what I like about it is that we get really fulsome and nice explanations of the things that matter to the characters, which is like the Phyrexian invasion and the trauma that's caused them, and what it's like to travel through an Omen Path, and how people feel about all of this stuff, about the multiverse opening up and all of these things. And the less important stuff is really like breezed through. You'll get like one sentence. Professor Vess was on Dominaria, right? That gives you that backstory, right? But there's just so many, there's just like the shit that you had to include. Apologizing for my language. Once it gets going, it like starts, its feet get underway, the business is concluded, we can start getting on with the story and really getting into these characters' minds. It's weird though, because I feel like the planes I know most about now through this, reading this book, which is set on Strixhaven, it's Capenna and Poliano. Or Fiora, sorry. Capenna and Fiora. I know enough about it to remember its name. But so but other than that, I think it did exactly what it needed to do well. It's a fast-paced read. Like, I breezed through it. Well, like, I was reading quickly, but like, I was not like...
You're a fast reader,
I'm
too.
a really fast reader, but it's 413 pages, this one, with small font. Like, this is a dense book. But it doesn't feel draggy. There's always things happening. It keeps things moving. Like, it's fast-paced and interesting at all the right times, and like deftly weaves together all of these things. There's a lot of plot elements to weave in, and there's a lot of characters, though, because there's all of these things that need to be addressed, because this is a magic book and the first one in what we hope will be a series. So I will say that I don't think that's necessarily a strike against it in my mind. I think you should just be prepared that if you do know the magic lore, you're going to be like, yes, I'm getting a lot of this stuff explained to me. And it's like, yeah, but you are not the only person who's going to read this. This has to stand alone. If you're just like, my friend has a commander deck and I've played once and I like to read and this is a cool setting, right? And I don't know anything about the magic backstory.
Cameron, your thoughts?
I think I wasn't as high on it as you were, which, your mileage may vary. I found it very, like, as you said, like, it has a lot of business to get through, and it has it has a hard time shaking that feel of, I feel like I'm being exposited at quite a lot in a lot of situations, and also, like, this is probably just, an artifact of what the circumstances are in the book. But, like, the students don't really seem to be wanting to be on Arcavios or in Strixhaven very much, right? Like, Alondra doesn't feel like she particularly cares about being a Prismari student.
I don't think she necessarily does. I think she wants to go home.
Yeah, I think she does as well. But if, like you have said, we learn quite a lot about Chandalar.
Yeah.
Like, we learn a lot about living in life in Paliano. We learn a lot about Capenna. We learn relatively little about Arcavios and Strixhaven. I wanted to learn more about Strixhaven. And what I felt we got out of this was a lot of people being like, well, being in university is kind of an inconvenience to what I actually want to do. Yeah, like it.
It's not a book about going to school.
No.
It's not a school book. It's about people who are at school and the circumstances that happen to them at school. The classes, aside from like a couple of weird solo lectures that Kasmina insists on giving them, and they do notice there's like, why is there never anybody else in our classes? Like, this is so weird.
So more like the Persona 5 balance rather than, say,
Yeah.
Persona 3.
Yeah.
This is maybe not a relevant comparison for a lot of people.
No,
but-
I actually think it is, honestly. Yeah, it's not a school book. I will say that.
Yeah.
There's just like, I don't know. I feel like you couldn't put everything in the book.
Because we've talked before, Cameron, when we've done lore episodes, and you've talked about the web stories, the web fictions, and not having enough runway because they're only so long unless you sorry, what's their name? Wrote Edge of Eternities.
Oh,
Seth Dickinson.
Seth.
Dickinson.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Seth. Yeah, because they turned in like way more word count than they were
Yes,
supposed
yeah.
to. So unless you're Seth Dickinson, you tend to have a bit of a word cap in what you can do. And we've talked before about the Warhammer novelizations and
Right.
how it's like, we want to see
Yeah.
this in novel form.
Yes. So, sorry, Kathleen, you have...
Oh, I was going to say, just to give you an idea of how long the Edge of Eternity story is and why it's so good. This book is like 127,000 words. The Edge of Eternity story is 110.
Oh, so it is a novel, basically.
It is a novel, and
Okay.
not a
not a novella.
yeah.
Like
it's like a proper novel.
Yeah, if that was bound, it would be like 300 pages.
Yeah.
Dang, all right.
So just to put that in
relevant.
context.
All right. So you were anyway.
Yeah, I feel like this book's job as an introduction to magic kind of overwhelms it. And I don't... The reason I kind of like am interested in the magic story has relatively little to do with me finding like a convenient introduction to it. Right? Like, I always think about... somebody made a post a few years ago about how Marvel keeps trying to do origin stories
Right.
with its
Right.
characters. And most of us did not get involved with the universes that we find traction with because we had an origin story. Right? If you like Spider-Man, a lot of us, our first introduction to Spider-Man was getting issue 5,424 in
That's true.
in a grab bag at somebody's birthday party. And you can be kind of trusted, I think, to find traction with some of that.
That's true.
Outside of it,
Do you think that this book was sort of potentially, because it was the first novel in so many years, that it was kind of saddled with this mantle of like, you have to be an introduction?
yes.
I am absolutely
Absolutely.
certain of it. That
Yeah.
there was like, I don't know. I don't want to know, honestly. But like, there's clearly like a checklist of things that needed to be included. And where I think this book shines the best and the brightest, because there are so many really beautiful parts, is where Seanan McGuire is like, I'm interested in this.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going deep on this. Like the description of like how the pest and like flower ecology at the school and like
Yes.
the groundskeeping maintenance is so cool. Like
Yeah.
all of these little tiny details that so much love and thought has gone into that make the world feel alive. It's like all of that kind of stuff, right, is great. But also, like, we do have to find out exactly what is going on in this universe. We have to be given more context than we need to tell this story.
Right.
Right?
So then,
And it does get it's worked in, I think, as well as it can be. You get a cool, wisecracking Ravnican coach driver who, is kind of a cool dude.
Right. Yeah, like the first interlude, I thought, right, because you go through chapters where stuff is established, and then you have little interludes where you spend time with a character you don't otherwise spend time with. The first one takes place immediately, like the structure of the book is like the first quarter of it, I want to say, is spent in the coach ride getting to school. Then Kasmina has their first lecture. They're dropped off at their dorm. A bunch of their stuff in the dorm is explained to them.
They get
And
their
then-
first, like, crime of, like, people being, like, writing rude graffiti.
Yeah. Romani a domus.
Yeah.
And then we get this interlude with Jamira,
Yeah.
where she gets introduced to Mage Ball,
Yeah.
the sport at Strixhaven. And the writing in that section feels so much more open and fluid and less constrained than it was in the previous chapters leading up to that.
Because it's not like I've got to get through all of this stuff. And we get to like sink into her mind, and like she talks about how and this is like another thing that I think is like hard to appreciate when you're reading it, but when you think about it is building it out. And she talks about how she puts the jewelry on her horns and what the different arrangements of the charms mean and stuff like that. And
like,
the wording in that is beautiful.
Yeah, and like part of that is that she's arranging the jewelry in her horns and what it means to her. And she has this moment where she's like, and nobody here is going to get that. And she cuts herself off before she says, and nobody in this universe is ever going to like understand that, right? And she like thinks a bit about like other planes she's heard where there's minotaurs. Mm-hmm. And again stops herself from like thinking about that too hard. Mm-hmm. Right? That's good. That's interesting. And then she kind of gets like scouted by the Quandrix Mage Ball team.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting what the name of the sport is.
I think it is Mage Ball. So the sports team.
Surely it is.
Yeah, and like it's something that she's excited about.
Yeah.
And then we go back, we leave that, and it once again feels like we're back in business. Mm-hmm. Like trying to move through, like Eula's the point of view character, and moving through her school year, which I felt was a lot less compelling. I don't. Maybe it's just that Eula is a less interesting character to me than Jamira.
Eula is like a more. I mean, Jamira
is very angry.
Yeah,
justifiably.
Yeah,
like
she's a very angry person.
Like she is constantly on the edge of losing it.
Yep.
With other people, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Same thing with Alondra, right?
Yeah.
Like
for a different reason.
Yeah. And Kakia and Eula and Sagante are much more comfortable in this space. Mm-hmm. But like another thing that I felt was a little bit of a miss was that Eula is really excited to join Silverquill. And like she meets Silverquill students and they're like, we think you're a good fit here. And Casmino's like, I didn't quite have you pegged as the Silverquill student. I thought you would go Prismari and that Alondra would go Silverquill. Because Alondra is
a diplomat,
well, she's kind of an aristocrat on her plane.
Yeah.
And that Eula was her family were involved in the brokers. Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on Eula to like deliver for her family, so she's like doing things like copying out spells and mailing them home.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool. I really like that as a subplot, right? Well, like that's what we get for her is like these conflicted feelings over family.
Yes.
Like that is her internal conflict, whereas Jamira is angry and Alondra is stressed and Sagante is dealing with his own shit.
Yeah, I kind of like how Eula is like copying out spells and sending them home and being like, I'm kind of stealing from this place, but I've got to in order to preserve my family's role. And like if I steal enough, if I copy enough stuff and send it back to my family, I won't be expected to go and work for the brokers. I will be allowed to go and work for
the Obscura, which is the fact I want to be. She wants to wear black.
Yeah, she wants to wear black.
She talks about an Obscura black, and I'm like, that girl's got an inner black mana pip. Mm-hmm. But she's not all black. It works. Like I like her as a Silverquill student.
Yeah, and like
this sense of dutifulness comes out in the white, right?
But she's never shown to be like particularly like when you think Silverquill, you think of these people who are like half in a rap battle, half in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Right? Like you want precise, pithy, memorable thoughts.
Yeah, but she's 19.
She is.
I don't know. I feel like people are stupid when they're young. They make some dumb decisions.
They are. Right. I don't know. Just for like an interplanar scout for
But you get the idea that perhaps that she was not perhaps the best. There's they make a lot of things about the politics of Strixhaven and how it was really important that they got one for every college, so no colleges could be seen to be competing. I wish we got a bit more about that.
Right.
About why it's so cutthroat back there. But the other thing is you get the idea that maybe these people weren't great. These people were the people that suited Kasmina's needs, not the school's needs.
Right. Yes. Yeah. They are people that, for one, Kasmina heard of, or maybe had some kind of reputation that Kasmina was able to I can take their kids.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense to me.
So to sort of maybe crystallize some of this, and this is not, I'm not trying to impose an opinion on you, Cameron. So adopt or adapt this as you see fit. But that there was a lot of moments or parts in the book that were really cool, but for you, the cohesive whole didn't land.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it didn't gel as well as I would have liked it to. There were pieces I liked, definitely. There were pieces I liked, and I don't know, it didn't come together for me. Ultimately, I would have also liked to have seen a lot more stuff from Arcavios. I would have liked to have seen other students be a more active part of this.
Do we see outside the school at all?
We do see a little bit. We see a forest and a pathway.
No, but
that's true.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you see
Fair.
outside the school.
Fair. But before the Omen Paths, for a plane to be able to support a colleges of this size, presumably there's an enormous rest of the society somewhere.
And that is mentioned and described and talked about, but not in any great we don't go there.
No,
we don't meet people. Well,
we
do meet people from there because we meet
a couple of path wardens.
We most of the students at Strixhaven are from Arcavios, and they talk about their homes.
Well,
and,
I mean, all the students basically.
That's true. Yeah.
Are these 5 the only 5 from? And the 5 in the set.
Well, no, but here's the deal. This is I think this happens before what's going on in the set.
Yeah.
Because this is the first season of the interplanar.
So this is post-Omen Paths, post-invasion, pre School of Strixhaven, the Magic the Gathering set. And are these 5 the only off-world?
Yes, there's a large
students?
point is made of that. So they become the ire. They become the focus of all this biosecurity concern, right? Look at these people walking around in here, they're growing their weird flowers from off-plane, right?
Yeah.
Their gut flora must be having a terrible time.
They actually bring that up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things with Orestes, the Alondra's Drake, is that they're we don't know what kind of pathogens this thing is It's not pooping in a toilet, for one thing.
Such a good point. It's
I know.
It's
I know.
You can come to the school. Your Drake cannot come here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's my emotional support Drake.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I think they're the villains, but they've got a point.
Yeah.
I that's
also
the best
think
kind of villain.
the scale of their
That's true.
villainy is a lot more restricted than I would have expected it to be. I would think that if you're on a university campus, if you are going to Strixhaven and a bunch of Silverquill students get it in their head they don't like you, you're going to be in for a rough time.
Yeah.
Right? These are people who should be the most dangerous rabble-rousers on their plane.
You're going to
True.
be the victim of a very pointed op-ed in the Strixhaven Star.
Or somebody's going to be not like us. Right?
oh, yeah, right. Good point. Damn.
Okay, but I get the feeling that these people aren't necessarily the villains as they were that are not Kasmina are not necessarily evil. What they want is these people just not to go there anymore, right?
Yeah.
Just we don't think this is a they don't want to hurt anyone really. Yeah, we have valid concerns and no one's listening. And I think they do. Like you said, I think it's the best kind of villain. It's I see what you're saying. Except Kasmina, screw her. I could tell right away.
Yeah, absolutely. But
there's something rewarding in that too. I was right.
Yeah, and all they do mention. I think it's in the foreword, or not the foreword. The opening bit. Kasmina's thinking about Rowan and
Will.
And Will and Rowan. Yeah.
I did forget that Kasmina has been a villain. She's
She's never been defined.
Well, fair. All right.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. So here's my review. I'm going to wrap it up.
Yeah, give your final thoughts and then Cameron's final thoughts.
Okay, if you like Magic the Gathering and
do.
you like the story of Magic the Gathering, I very much think that you should read this book for some very specific reasons. One, it is nice to sit and read a book. It will be good for your mind,
It's true.
and this is a fun, fast-paced, nice book to read with a good romance, beautiful descriptions of magic using, and a plot that comes together cohesively at the end. There are many, many, many worse books that you could read. Okay? Which is not like me saying like, oh, this book is mid. I'm saying this book will check all the boxes that you want, which is itself a feat. 2, I think if you care about like those weird details of magic backstory, like what Angrath is up to and like how carriage driver rates go and like what deals the Firemind has worked out to ensure safe travel and the fact that some Omen paths are only open certain hours of the day or change locations and all of this crazy weird stuff. This is so cool for that because you get to know all of that stuff too. There's a lot of just little throwaway things that are here that will enrich your understanding of the Magic universe. I think if you don't know much about Magic lore and you're like, yeah, but I want to read a fun book, I think that you could do a lot worse than this. Like, I think this is a fun, good book to read even if you're not that interested in Magic lore. So I think, honestly, this is like exactly what this needs to be. If you're not familiar with it, it's going to familiarize you with it, but it's also going to give you some fun, interesting characters and a little yarn to take you along with it in a familiar but good setting, with lots of cool details that make the setting seem really interesting because it is. And if it sells well, they'll make more of them. And then we do get a weird breakdown. We get another weird breakdown kind of thing where we don't have to spend, probably what's close to 50 pages of text explaining the history and the backstory of the entire world. We get to give Shauna McGuire more room to tell us weird stuff about Fioran flower manners, which is a whole thing that I had never occurred to.
Yes,
and
yeah.
I'm sure she had to make it up wholesale for the book because I doubt they have tons of Fiora facts, right?
I would like to subscribe to Fiora Facts.
It's cool. There's a lot of great there's a lot of great universe building, and I want to support it, and it's good, and it's fun, and it's nice to read a book. So go read a book. I think
All right.
You will have a fun time. It's not House of Leaves.
Fair. Cameron.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any particular point you made. I just wasn't as positive about it as you were.
It's okay.
I think I expected a different book.
Yeah.
I think I came in expecting a different book, and that's on me.
I don't think so. I don't think it is on you. It's okay to not be in love with it.
Yeah, I think I talk about music a lot, and you can say that this is good, and it does everything it needs to do, but it's not personally for me. Like, there's lots of great pop albums out there, like the Charlie XCX album, Brat.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna, there's lots of really great songs on it, but I'm gonna out myself here. It's not something I'm ever really gonna listen to ever again now that I've listened to it a couple of times to see what it was like. It's just not for me. So, a fast-paced, magical romp with some romance and other elements and some backstory. I think this book is trying to do so many things.
Yes.
This book has so many plates in the air. And some of the plates are held up really well, and some of the plates are not held up as well because they're weighed down with other things that the book needs to be doing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I think you can focus on
You can focus on. I'm saying we're not the show Loading Ready Run is not making any wide proclamations on the book. You are allowed to do that, and Cameron is allowed to not love it, and that's fine.
I think that's fine. Not everything's for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go.
I liked it.
There was and it's out when? Now?
Today.
Soon? Today?
Today. Go pick it up
today.
today.
At time of
on
broadcast?
sale, 4/7/26.
Great. Yours won't have the white border around the
No.
cover. Yeah, that's just like the pre-release thing. But
There could have been typos in this one, and I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, uncorrected proofs.
Yeah. But I mean, you might not have noticed typos anyway.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Never.
No. Not my strong suit.
Nope. Yeah, that's not for me.
All right. Well, hey, that's our breakdown of Strixhaven Omens of Chaos by Shauna Maguire. Available now if it sounds like your thing. If you're someone who vibes with what Kathleen's saying or is on sort of the more Cameron end of the spectrum, you will be able to make those determinations yourself.
That's true. Read the book and let us know what you thought in the comments.
And check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Use the code LRMTG5 at Dragon Shield to get yourself a discount. And most importantly, support us on Patreon or by becoming a member of this YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Until we talk to you again, though, I have been Graham, joined by Kathleen.
Thank you.
And Cameron.
Present.
With James on Tech. Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.